From the studio of WTAP Plus, sit back as we introduce you to some of our area business owners. This is Mid-Ohio Valley Main Street, Small Business Spotlight, with host Stephanie Plant.
Hi, welcome back to the Mid-Ohio Valley Main Street. I am your host, Stephanie Plant, and I am sitting here with my guest, Lee Rector and Wayne from Blennerhassett Hotel. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting us. Yes.
Yeah. So today we're going to learn a little bit about Blennerhassett, and it's such an important historical building and piece in the community. So I am excited to hear your story, and I'm sure the viewers are as well. So let's jump right in.
Okay.
Very good. So tell us a little bit about how the Blennerhassett became part of your story.
Well, we obtained the Blennerhassett Hotel and Spa in October 2019, and it happened very, very quickly. We were approached by the owner, and he's kind of wrapping things up in his businesses, and came to us and wanted us to buy the hotel. And I said, we are not buying a hotel. And then I went home and we're talking to Wayne, and he kind of was like, well, we need to talk to them. And I thought he'd lost his mind. And so that was in June. And by October the 1st, we found ourselves owners of the Blennerhassett Hotel and Spa.
There was a lot of motivation, though, in our decision making, because the last thing I need is another business to operate and worry about each day. But we were deeply concerned because the Blennerhassett was and still continues to be the anchor of downtown as far as retailing and service is concerned, serving the general public. And we were concerned that if it were sold to an outside interest, they might end up closing it, and he might remove the structure. So the reason why we finally decided, okay, Sam, we'll take the hotel, was simply because we wanted to keep it planted in our community.
Yeah, and I think having Blennerhassett is important, and I love that we have local ownership such as yourself. So walk me through that process. I mean, sounds like that was a really quick transaction. So what was going on in your mind? What were you thinking, as this is happening quickly at that?
Yeah. I know the first day that we walked in on October the 1st, and we had an HR company work with us and work through the process of the employees and getting everybody on point of like everything's going to be okay, because I think that was the biggest fear for the previous owner, that you find a new owner coming in, then oh my goodness, I'm not going to have a job, or we have employees that's worked there. Butch in our housekeeping has been there almost 50 years in total. And his mother worked there. And so, we didn't want to destroy that culture of thinking that we're going to come in and change everything. We actually walked in that first day and we looked at each other and he said, now what do we do? Because we'd never owned a hotel before. We've owned businesses and I've had the spa, but when we took over, there were almost 140 employees. And so it was a different time, that was for sure.
Yeah, it was a great chore for us, but the good news was we went in, the staff supported us completely. The hotel has many moving parts. The spa did not exist. We created the spa after we acquired it. And then, of course, the exciting news happens the 1st of 2020, 3 months after we buy the hotel, COVID. And as we all know, under the COVID problem, the hotel was down to how many employees? At least 6, 7, or 8?
We had to furlough down to 8 employees. We didn't have any rooms rented. Our dining room had to close. And it was a kind of a double-edged sword at that time, because then it gave us the opportunity when we were closed to really dig deep and get into the hotel and find out what really needed to be addressed that, kind of had Band-Aids put over. And so we really, we got into the kitchen and just a lot of things. And, everybody was willing. The 8 people that were there, we'll do anything. What do you want us to do? We had Adam, who's our concierge and our historian, was painting the vestibule and painting the kitchen, and we were scrubbing appliances. So we made use of that time and really knew that we'd see light at the end of the tunnel eventually. And we did.
I love the positivity, and I love that you're, where you are today. And June, October, COVID. Wow. First year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was tough, very tough.
So not being having hotel ownership, what did you learn in that first year that, you've been business owners and respected business owners in the community, but talk to us, what did that look like?
Well, I think both of us have extensive experience in running a business with employees. And the key to it when you have a staff is scheduling and watching payroll cost, because payroll costs can eat you alive. So that's one skill we had. Even running a hotel, which we'd never done before, we knew exactly how to control the payroll costs within the hotel. So that was a major factor in us making it through this first, 6 years now? Going to 6 years.
Going on 7 in October.
Yeah. So you have an anniversary coming up. That's great. 7 years. Yeah. So
speaking of anniversaries, the hotel is West Virginia's oldest hotel.
Let's talk to that.
1889.
1889.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit on the history of the hotel? I think our viewers and listeners would love to hear a little bit about. Maybe they're out there. Maybe you're listening and tuning into this podcast, and you said, "I would love to go stay at the Blennerhassett, but I." Talk to him. Let's talk about the history.
I find so ironic is, Wayne is, I always say Wayne's the bean counter, and I'm the one that has to be down. Well, I loved what I do, and I love the people, but Wayne kind of keeps us on track of this is what we need to do. But we have a great historian, Adam Dotson, who's been with the hotel for 18 years off and on. He started when he was 16 there as a dishwasher, or 14, I believe. And he gives a terrific tour of the hotel. And what I realized about the hotel, when our local community would come in and they were having lunch or dinner or whatever, and I would be like, have you ever seen any of the rooms? And they're like, oh, we've been to weddings down here and bridal parties and birthday parties and memorials and all kinds of events that's been held down here, but we've never seen a room. And I'm like, come on, I'm going to go show you some rooms, because we have 9 different types of rooms in the hotel. We have junior suites, executive suites, superior suites, signature suites. We did make one of the rooms, we call it the JFK suite room, and that's because John F. Kennedy stayed here during his campaign. So we even have a replica of the rocker that he had in all of his spots. And Adam, I have to say, has the passion. If anyone has the passion for the hotel, it's Adam Dotson, because he knows every inch of that hotel. And unfortunately, I'm not the one to ask all the details. He certainly is. I know it took 6 years to build, 4 or 6 years to build.
Yeah, it took several years to
build.
It
started in 1883 and opened, it's 6 years, and opened the door in 1889, May the 5th. And Chancellor built it, and he was a big businessman. If you look at the hotel on the corner of 4th and Market, that was the first bank. First National Bank originally.
Which is now our library.
And I know that the story goes that he wanted to, because of all of the oil and gas boom that's happening in the Mid-Ohio Valley and with the river, he wanted to build a hotel that was luxurious and second to none. I think we were the first in Parkersburg to have electric.
We were.
And so a lot has changed at the hotel since 1889. I think it's had, believe it or not, I could stand to be corrected, but I think over the years it's only had 8 owners.
Oh, wow.
So It's pretty amazing, and it is the pillar of downtown Parkersburg. And I know Wayne was very adamant that, if anything happened to the hotel, we wouldn't have, what would downtown do? So here we are.
And here's another interesting thing: the name hotel. People think, oh, Parkersburg's got all kinds of hotels. They don't. They only have one. The rest are really motels. They have rooms and parking, and that's it. We're the only real hotel in the Parkersburg market. We have Bellman, we have a restaurant, we have a lounge,
Valet.
we have everything that a real hotel, concierge. So we're really the only hotel in the area. And the thing that's I find most interesting is so many of our guests are traveling through the area, but somehow they Google or something and they find us. And they come in, and yesterday morning I was reading a review, and this gentleman that's one of those traveling through and never stayed in the hotel, he gave us 5 stars. And every day you have so many problems in running a business. It was such a blessing that morning to get up and read that review that gentleman gave us. I mean, he gave us 5 stars from the rooms to the food and everything. Recently we had a group of hotel managers having a district meeting in our hotel. And some of the comments coming back from these gentlemen were amazing. One manager said, I looked everywhere in my room. I looked under the bed. I looked everywhere just for dirt or dust. He said my room was immaculate. He said it was the cleanest hotel room. And this is a manager of a hotel saying this. This was the cleanest room I've ever stayed in.
And
Isn't that amazing?
To tag on to that, you might want to mention to them about the rating we got from AAA.
Oh, yeah.
And our housekeeping department is second to none. Do you want to tell?
Top 10% in the world. Not 10% United States, but top 10% in the world.
Oh, that's
in hotel cleanliness.
And they're really tough inspectors.
Yeah.
Really tough.
I love it that you had other hotel owners, managers.
That
come
meant
in
everything.
come in to visit. That's
and they
great.
wanted to be away from their. They didn't want to have it in like one of their hotels. They wanted it to be someplace different. So, and the gentleman's from, I believe, Cleveland that oversees, he's a management company for these hotels that oversees it. And he said, everybody is so friendly here and the culture is so different. And I said, and he goes, where does that come from? And I said, Wayne and I have try to bring to our team that you treat people as if they're a guest at your home. And you keep your home as clean as possible, and you have pride in where you're at. And that rubs off on our guests. And we have, one of the comments we have, we read comments every day, good, bad, and indifferent. One of them, just yesterday, I think it was, says, we're a pet-friendly hotel. So he had his dog there, and he said, we've traveled with our dog, and we've never, ever had every one of your employees come up that we see want to make over our dog and welcome our dog. And they said that just meant so much to us, that not just the front desk, not just the bellman or the concierge, but all from housekeeping to our kitchen, to our servers, to everybody knows that's our expectations. And you know what? If you don't believe in that philosophy and that expectation, you're really not going to be a fit for the Blennerhassett Hotel.
Right, and I think that's really an important piece, is having those expectations for the employees and setting those standards. And I got to tell you, I was over there one time, and I had not been in the JFK suite, and Adam took me there, and it was something to see. I think if you're out there and that's you're interested in that piece of history, there's a lot of history on the walls. You guys, so yesterday I had an event at the Blennerhassett, and a gentleman come in, and he had not been in there, and he was reading all the history pieces on there. So it's very welcoming, and it's a fun little history piece. But the JFK, I wanted to point that out because that was fun. So
there's another room that we did too. Lee, what's the name of the room? Is it Marie Antoinette?
The Marie Antoinette
where
suite.
The furniture. The furniture was custom made.
Actually, that was the Margaret Blennerhassett suite, which is a large suite. It'll sleep up to 6 people.
Okay.
And then
But all the furniture was custom made in Italy for a very wealthy lady who lived in Paris. So this very wealthy lady decided to move from Paris to Miami, Florida, and she brought all that furniture with her to Miami, United States.
like
Well,
48
unfortunately,
pieces.
she passed, and her state decided to sell the furniture, and Lee and I became aware of it. And since we have an apartment in Fort Lauderdale, we ran down to Miami, checked things out. We bought it. It's beautiful. I mean, it's spectacular furniture, handmade.
You'd never see it in a hotel room.
No, you never see it in a hotel.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to make sure I get up to see that.
502.
room. Yeah.
And then we have a double suite, which is 409. It's the most active room in the hotel, so they
Oh,
say.
let's go ahead, Darren, and expand on that. When you say active, what do you mean?
So it's funny because
Paranormal.
paranormal, and we have guests ask us all the time. I personally can't say that I've seen anything. I've been asked if the hotel's haunted, and my comeback is, if you want it to be, I guess it can be. But there's been a lot of sightings. We had Ghostbusters, the TV show or whatever, come and stay for about 4 days, and we've had other. But we have a lot of people, especially during Halloween, that want to stay there, and they want 409 because it's the most active suite, they say, in the hotel.
There's an app you can get to put on your phone. I have it on my phone. And what you do, you go to that app and you put it out to like just where there's nobody standing or anything. You'll see the image of the individual because it picks up energy. And the hotel is filled with these energies.
You're going to have people just stopping by to check out
Or
the
not. we have some people who are like, I'm not, but you know what I say, because the hotel is so old, I'm sure any old buildings there's a lot of energy in them, but back to the 409 suite, it sleeps up to 10 people, and the reason
It's
why
two-story.
we created these suites is we call them family suites because of Discovery World up the street, and you can bring your families, and if you have 3 or 4 kids and you want to all stay together, you don't want to be in separate rooms. So the suites, the way they're designed is they'll have like maybe a king size bed, and then they'll have a Murphy bed, and then they'll have a sofa bed. So they all can be utilized that way.
So when you took the hotel over, is that something that you added in? Was the suites then
We did.
the 2 stories,
Yep,
and
we
so
did.
Well, the 2
Yeah.
stories always been there.
Okay.
But we expanded the number of guests that could stay in the room. When we worked with Discovery World and said, "Hey, we want to partner with you. We know that this is going to be your what you're doing here. We want to be a partner." And I think, well, I know that for us, it's all about partnering, as it is with Stephanie, with our community.
Yeah.
And the community support.
Yeah.
So, during that time of COVID, I think we had huge community support. The hospital, when they needed traveling nurses, and we wanted to put them up and so forth. So, I think that's a real big part of the puzzle.
Yeah.
Is working together.
Community is huge, and I think that's why we're here and being able to speak to different businesses and throughout the community. But yeah, so walk me through, how many employees do you have currently at the hotel?
I'm not real sure. I think it's around 70.
Yeah, 70, 75
Yeah.
employees.
So in a hotel, when you're managing and operating a hotel, let's talk about the different departments that it takes to run that business.
Yeah,
So-
we have the culinary staff, which is the food, of course. And we have the front of the house service staff, which is the lounge and the servers. And you have your front desk crew. And you have your housekeeping. And then you have the people who work in janitorial. We have one man who just does the laundry.
And that's a big thing, I think, too, is everything we do, all the way down to preparing the food, is all in-house. All of our laundry is done in-house, our housekeeping, all of our food is prepared to order. So all of our marketing, everything right now is all in-house. And it's a lot. We have a great general manager, Betsy Patterson, who has been godsend because, Betsy is a retired principal. So when I approached her and said, and I'd known Betsy for 40 plus years as being a customer, and I said, if you can run a high school and deal with parents, teachers, and students, you can run a hotel. And that she does.
Yes. Yeah. So with all of that going on, she was there. I met her.
Yes.
I met her, and we kind of spoke a little bit last night. I've met her before,
Sure.
but yeah, we had a conversation. And you were saying, "Hey, I've got the daytime, and she's got the evening."
Yeah.
So there's definitely a balance, right?
It's a tremendous balance. I'm there during the morning and the afternoons, and Betsy is. Well, Betsy's there whenever we need her, but she's definitely there in the evening if there's any thing that needs to be addressed.
So I think one fun fact too is when I've walked in to have dinner, I've got somebody waiting on me. Is she a family member?
What's that?
Your mother.
Oh, my mother. Yeah.
Oh, host.
So my mom, yes, Betty is 91, not going to be 91 years old, and she's kind of been my right arm, I guess, all my life. And so she cut it back a bit, and she just does Monday brunch or Monday lunch for us. But, we were in business for over 35 years in the Spa and Studio, the Merle Norman, and we built such a rapport with our customers that became not only customers, but long life friends. And to see them walk in that we hadn't seen for years is really a treat. And I think that's what makes, for me, the hotel is that connection with people that I've known forever, but maybe not seen for a long, long time. So it's really a passion, it's a passion of love that you have to love people, and you have to love what you do, and you have to love, putting fires out when you need to.
Yeah. And that definitely happens in business anywhere. Yeah. So, as if somebody is out there today and, anywhere, and they're saying, I'm thinking about starting a hotel, what would be your biggest advice to them as they start this venture?
I don't even feel like I'm qualified to give them advice in that, because
it'd be the same as any business, really.
It is, but the Blennerhassett Hotel is a different beast.
It's very complex.
It's very, very. We have to, if the boiler doesn't work or the air conditioner doesn't work, and if you're building a brand new hotel, or if you're going to get an older hotel, make sure you know the bones of it, because there's a lot of skeletons, if you will, could be in the closet.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
But one thing I did want to mention, though, I had been in the beauty and spa business for 35 years, and so when we moved and we were going to get the hotel, I'm like, where are we going to put the spa? So we decided that we would gut the basement, which was all administration, and we'd put the spa in the basement. And then again, COVID came along, and we said, this is just going to, how many massages and facials are we going to have to do to pay for this? So we decided to scratch the idea of the spa in the basement, and I worked with a spa coordinator and designer, and he said, look, you're an 84-room boutique hotel. You do not need a huge spa. You need a boutique spa. So we took 4 of the rooms on the second floor, and we made one a retail room, and they're all connecting rooms. We made a massage room, a facial room, and a multi-purpose room. So when we're doing weddings and events, we can accommodate everybody. For coming up, Valentine's Day, we are booked from 8 in the morning till 9:30 at night with services that we offer. And a lot of people don't know that we still continue doing the spa services like we did, but we do offer the spa services, facials, massages, manicures, pedicures, and blowouts, makeup lessons. But the irony of that, how it all kind of unfolded was, what are we going to do with the downstairs now? Like, we had the downstairs, what are we going to do with that space? Because we're not going to use it for just putting, making a junk room. So we got our team together and our events people, and we said, what do you think we should do with this space? And the first thing was make it a speakeasy. So that's when the 1889 Club, we named it that because that's the day the doors open to the hotel. We named it the 1889 Club, and it truly is a speakeasy, and people absolutely love it. So to get in, we're open usually on Friday, Saturday nights until the wee hour morning. And to get in, you have to pick up a phone at the door, but in the vestibule beside the door, and the bartender will answer and give you the code for the evening to get in. So that's probably the most.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and we have a lot of bachelorette parties down there. We have a lot of people that want to rent it out, just have the space for themselves, and we've done a lot of that. Which we have a piano down there with a pianist, and we have stand-up mic, and so they have a really good time down there.
Yeah, that's really great. And what I loved about that you said about all that was that you got your staff together, and so you lean in on what their thoughts and their perspectives were. So I think that's really important. And it's a beautiful, fun space. Yeah. I'm excited for us to be able to have that in the community.
Well, and back when you say we got our team together, I think that's why it works for us. We're not the owner that comes in and says, you wait on us first. You do that. No, we're not that. We're not those people. We're the people that say, you take care of our guests, and you treat us just like you treat anybody else. And we want to see how that works out, because we want our guests to have excellent service. We want them to feel comfortable, to know that they don't have to be in a suit and tie to come in if they don't want to be.
By the way, that's important. You mentioned that. The other day, I had someone mention to me, a business associate. He said, the general public has the impression that the Blennerhassett is fine dining, which of course it is, but you have to be formal when you go there. In other words, dressed up. And I said, oh my, that is not true at all. You can come in casual clothing. It's to come in and enjoy your evening. Yes, we have tablecloths, we have cloth napkins, all the things you'll experience in fine dining, but we want you to be relaxed. You don't have to have a jacket and a tie. And I was really shocked when he told me that.
But if you want a jacket and tie, wear a jacket and tie. If you want to wear a sequins dress, wear a sequins dress. And I think it's very casual in the summertime when the patio's open and we have music on the patio every Friday and Saturday night. And we actually put a bar out on the patio so people could enjoy football games and so forth. But one thing that was brought to my attention that you mentioned that is we had people thinking that we had somebody come in the other day and say, are we allowed to eat in the hotel if we're not staying here?
Oh, wow.
So that was a perception that I never heard of. I said,
you don't know what's going on.
I said, you don't have to stay at the hotel to eat in the restaurant. And he goes, oh, I wasn't sure if you had to stay here. And I'm like, no, come in. So, it's different perceptions of what, and I guess that's what we're sitting here talking about.
Yeah, so that's that's something for sure. Yeah, so you all are managing not only like the hotel, but then you've got an independent restaurant, right? And so how do you get that communication out? And then the spa, they can call in. They don't have to be a guest of the spa to book
have services or anything. Yeah.
So, but if somebody wants to book in the spa, how do they find you?
They can just call the front desk at 304-422-3131. We also have a direct line to the spa. I'm embarrassed to say I can't tell you what it is, but it is. But if you call that or even email us, Michelle Jones is our spa director, and she is right on it, and she'll get you in as best we can. We have about 4 to 5 different massage therapists we have on call that we get in. I still do facials. I do facials. I'm open on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I teach at the West Virginia School of Cosmetology and Aesthetics. And on Wednesdays, I work at the hotel. So there you go.
A lot of business. I was just getting ready to ask, how do you have a work-life balance? What do you do for fun?
Is there such a thing?
Well, I think it's important, even if it's for a couple of days. But I think I hear both of you and sitting down and talking to you that work really is fun for you, and you enjoy exactly what you do. But
Yeah.
So-
Well, we're lucky enough that we try to get away for 3 or 4 days out of the month, and Wayne or I, neither of us take a day off. I mean, it's just not in our blood, I guess. The only way we can take a day off is to get out of town.
So,
And
even a 2 to 3 day getaway is
You
a
can
nice
decompress.
reset. You can kind of have some downtime and then come back and
ready to
be
go.
ready
again.
to go again. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so talk to us about the hotel. If I'm new into the area, and I walk into the hotel for the first time, right? Walk me through what I'm going to see, because some people may be listening and have never been there. So walk us through a visual, if you will.
I think, in a nutshell, and I hear this comment for a first-time guest, it's very reminiscent of what you experience in Europe. As you know, we have an apartment in Prague, Czech Republic. And in Europe, the hotels, most of them are aged like ours, and they have the high ceilings and the charm. There's a special charm that you'll feel when you walk in from just the feel of the hotel. And we do like to create that European experience, which is welcoming and friendly. And, you feel like, oh, man, I like this place.
Well, I can say too, I'm everything but in the kitchen of the hotel. Let's put it that way. And during the pandemic, I was everywhere as well. But there are, in Europe, like Wayne said, you'll have the owner on site. And I don't know that you have much of that here in the United States.
We're one of very few owner-operated hotels, very few.
And I do everything from bellman to valet to anything that they need assistance. And I think that's why we have the team that we have, or I know it is, because they know I'm doing it, and they better be doing it, and they jump right in. And like I said, the ones that get it, and that's the culture we wanted to build. And I feel like we've reached that culture where people, we know our guests by name, and we know if you've been a regular staying at the hotel, hello, Miss Payne, good to see you back again. And so you don't get that in today's world much anymore. You're not a name, you're a number, if you're even that. And so it's kind of an old-fashioned thing that we know our guests. We're thrilled that they come back, and same way in a community. When they come in, I feel like they feel good.
The one thing we do want to make sure we cover during this podcast, and Lee is on the board of directors of the Humane Society. And would you inform them about our policy with the adoption process?
So we have a program with the Humane Society that we started about 3 years ago, I think. And we bring one dog into the hotel, and it lives there until it gets adopted. And we've adopted over 225 dogs out.
Isn't that amazing?
200
And they've all gone to wonderful homes.
25. I think that's something.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
program that we've done, the cage is up at the front desk, or up by the front desk, and the guests love it. I was just in a meeting with our front desk staff before we came down here, and they're like, everybody's asking, when are we going to get another dog? When are we going to get another dog? And I said, end of February. We're trying to. We first at Christmas, and we had the Festival of Trees, and we didn't want to disrupt the dog with all the people coming in, so we decided to wait until after the first year, and when the weather breaks, we will have another dog. And usually it's not there very long, and it's amazing because I tell our guests that come in, we've had several guests come in from out of town, and I said, how many hotels can you go to for the weekend and go home with a pet? And it happens.
And they've gone all over the United States, all over the place.
And it happens more than not. Of course, the Humane Society has to, they have to send an application in and get it approved. But the program we have with the dogs it's such a win-win situation. If one of our staff members have to clock in at the front desk, so if staff comes in, they're just having a horrible day before they even start to work, and they see that puppy down there, looking at you with the sad eyes and say, take me for a walk. And it changes the whole concept.
That's been one of the negatives is the staff get so attached to the dog. Some of the girls will actually cry when the dog's adopted.
When they've gotten
Well,
attached.
we had one there for 3 weeks, probably one of the longest ones we'd had. And she was very shy and timid when she came into the hotel. And we have volunteers from the Humane Society that'll come down and check on them and take them in the library and sit on the couch and play with them. And our guests are like, oh, can we walk the dog? So it gets so much attention. So this dog I became so attached to, and I kept saying to Wayne, if that dog doesn't get adopted, I'm not one to bring one home, but I'm going to bring it home. Well, the next day, this couple came in for the weekend, and they were from Pomeroy, I think, and they were only there for the weekend, and the husband fell in love with this dog. And so before they left, they were the dog's owners, and when it was when they were leaving, I was walking out just bawling my eyes out. And then she said, "It's okay, we'll come back." And the dog turned around to me and looked at me like, "It's okay." And I said, "No, it's a good thing." I said, "I just got so emotional attached to that dog."
Yeah, yeah.
Get tears thinking about it, but it was a great. They have all gotten great homes.
Yeah.
So we're very blessed about that.
So I want to talk about the Festival of Trees. You brought that up, and so that is something that's really a great benefit to the United Way. And
It's probably one of their biggest, if not their biggest fundraiser, isn't it, Lee?
Yes, we actually, it's funny, and Stacy DeSecco will attest to this. Easter seals during 2019, we did it, and then in 2020, they were going to have to back out because they couldn't find any sponsorship. They only had like 6 or so. So I kind of panicked because it was like, we got to have the Festival of Trees. It had been there for years. And so I went to Stacy at United Way and I said, listen, will you be able to do the trees this year? Would you take that on? And she said, yeah, we'll do a tree. I said, no, I want you to own the trees. This can be a fundraiser, and they've done a magnificent job. We bring them in, and it's a lot. I don't know if the community realizes, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work on the hotel staff. We have to move all the furniture out of the library, any place we can that we have furniture, it gets moved over into storage. The decorators come in for 4 or 5 days and decorate the trees. The trees are set up from like November the 11th till December the 10th, and then they're auctioned off. And it's a huge fundraiser, and it's such a good time to be at the hotel when you can walk through and see all the beautiful trees and the love and passion that was put into the holiday season.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to it this year because we are going to have a tree. So I need to get ahead of that. Definitely. Yep. My employees don't know, but we're doing it.
We have a lot of creative people
will.
at WTAP, so you should have an awesome tree.
Yeah, it will be great. So, yeah.
And I got to mention, if you go through the hotel during the holidays, we have a terrific guy, Jason Wires, who plays our piano at the hotel. We always have a piano player, either Jason or we have 2 other piano players, and during the weekends. But Jason does all the decorating for every holiday, just about, for the hotel. And it's funny because he'll come in the middle of the night to do it, and you'll walk through the hotel the next day and like it's Easter or it's Valentine's Day, or how'd that all happen? So we're very lucky with the people that do have a passion for the hotel, and it really shines.
Yeah. So I have to ask, do you have a podcast or a book or somebody that in your life that you have said, hey, they really were influential in where I am today as a business owner, as a person?
One thing that's happened at the hotel. The hotel was never a statewide convention location for the state government, for the various agencies. And we're blessed because some of our local state representatives brought the very first state event to our hotel. So big that they filled other hotels too.
Nice.
After that event was over, we have letters from the people who attended, the top leaders, stating it was the best event they had ever had. And they can't wait to come back again. And what has happened since then? We're getting all kinds of state agencies, police department, sheriff's department, county clerks, having their statewide convention.
Education.
Right here in our hometown, Parkersburg, West Virginia.
And not only that, we just found out that we have a national convention that's coming up in March that's going to be staying at the hotel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Fun. Fun.
So it's a
It's a
gardener
a women's gardening.
Okay.
association.
Yeah,
Yeah.
until recently, I thought it was just a statewide thing. And my
It's a
staff said,
national.
"Oh no, we got people coming from all over the United States." I said, well, "We don't have enough room, so that's okay. The overflow is going in the other hotels around the area, but the 200 people will be meeting at our hotel for their meetings and eating and things like that."
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And they're putting Parkersburg on the map.
Parkersburg deserves to be on the map, so
Yes.
I'm happy to hear.
Well, one of those state officials that came to that first convention had never even been to Parkersburg, and they fell in love with the place.
Yeah. Yeah.
One couple described Parkersburg as a quaint little village. In her review of the hotel, she said, "Oh, it's located in this quaint little village." So see how people see us differently?
With an
Yeah.
island.
With an island. Yeah, with an island. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's great. Well, we're going to be wrapping up our time together here today, but before we close this out, is there anything that I haven't asked in terms of the hotel itself or business ownership, or if you've got somebody out there that you could want to say something to, what would that be?
I would just want to thank the community, because without the community support, Lee and I could have not carried the hotel this long. And the community has been at our back from day one and continues to be that way. And without that, we could have never survived it.
Yeah, community is a big part of that. So somebody comes down and walks into the hotel and wants to say, "Hey, I got to meet you all. Just have a mask for Wayne and Lee, and they can have a conversation, talk to you about this, right?"
You know,
Absolutely.
Lee's Bellman a lot of times, and he'll come home and tell me about it. And of course, they're always offering him a tip for carrying their luggage to the room and everything. He says, "Oh, no, you take this down and get yourself a drink in the lounge."
There you go.
Because our picture hangs over the man on the library.
Yeah.
So they recognize you.
Yeah.
Aren't you my bellman? No, it's been well, if you'd have told me 7 or 8 years ago that we were going to be owners of a hotel and running a hotel, I would have told you you're probably crazy. But here we are. We're making the best of it. And it's I feel like that we've taken the hotel to another level. And, in time, someone else is going to have that challenge to take it to another level, to be, we won't be here forever. And so we just have to plan accordingly and know that we have a good strength. Like Wayne said, with our community, we couldn't have done it. And thank you, Stephanie, for taking the time to sit down with us and finding out about the Blennerhassett Hotel and Spa.
It's been my pleasure. I really appreciate the both of you coming in today. Our viewers and listeners, I'm sure they appreciate learning a little bit about the Blennerhassett Hotel.
WTAP is always in demand by our guests, because a lady last night was complaining because she couldn't pick up WTAP or TV. So for some reason, maintenance had to go up and show her how to do it.
I absolutely love that. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, not really.
That's great. Yeah.
They wanted local news.
Local news.
Yes.
Hey, that's where it is.
That's where it's at.
Yeah. So very good. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.